Hey y'all, it's me Sydney and welcome back to Planet Sid. So today we are going to be finally doing another Criminal Minds tier ranking. And so we're going to be doing that with the unsubs and just some crazy moments from the new reboot that's on Paramount Plus. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, then stay tuned. So before we start, I'm just going to go over the different tiers that I made up. These are still the same tiers from the previous video, but the first tier at the lowest is Officer. So these are just unsubs or just situations where I feel like, okay, you just need to go to jail, go behind bars, because these people are obviously still crazy, but in comparison to other people, it's like, okay, I guess theoretically, because if you watched all 3 seasons of Evolution, a part of being with the network is that if you get caught, then you have to, end things. So a lot of these people don't end up going to jail, but theoretically, if they did, they should go to jail. And so the second tier that I have is you need to repent. Like, obviously these are still fucked up people or whatever, but they still need to go to jail, but they also need to call on some type of higher power or something, because it's just something it's not right with you. It was already not right, because why are you killing people? But get it together. And the next tier that I have is the not you bitch. These are just people who caught me by surprise, that they were unsubs or that they were as involved, or just people in moments that just caught me by surprise while I was watching this. And the fourth category is there is a special place in hell. So these people are demons, people who just cause chaos everywhere they go and just were super twisted, specifically with how they carried out their crimes and things of the sort. So they're going to go in that category. And the fifth and final tier that I have is the door is gone. These are just people who are completely unhinged. You crazy, you obviously need to go to jail, this, that, and the third. All the other tiers apply to you, but you are in a category of your own. And so, yeah. So the first person that I am going to start with is Benjamin Reeves. This dude had a very weird relationship with his mother. I blame his mother. It was giving very much Oedipus. His mother was an attorney general, but he would choose his victims by women who favored his mother, which was also kind of weird and nasty. And he had this it looked like a grill once they pulled it out, but it was this sharp mouthpiece to where he would literally bite them like a vampire, and that's how he would unalive them. And it was just so insane. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you can see my cat. Leo, lay down. The mouthpiece, that was a pretty innovative way for him to do his job. And also the whole mother thing, ooh. So I'm gonna say you need to repent, because obviously, well, he didn't go to jail. 90% of these people ended up unaliving themselves. Yeah, he would obviously need to go to jail, but also bro, you need some help. You need some help, because his mom fucked him up. So yeah, so that's where you're going. Also, I'm not sure if I said this or not, but Benjamin Reeves, he was the Beltway Elite founder, which was this dating app specifically for government employees. And so that's how he would find his victims. And so they really were like his mom, because she was an attorney general, and also they looked like her as well. So that was just awful. Okay, so the next unsub that I have is Rory Gilchrist. It was a lot of family annihilators in this entire series of Evolution. It was a lot of different scenarios where it was family annihilators. And so he would basically invade the homes and then annihilate the family, except for the teen girl, and then he would kidnap them. I'm going to say Rory, he is going to go in There's a Special Place in Hell. It's just something about home invasions that just terrified me, and that just seems so like you are a demon out of hell if you're walking up into a home that's not yours. I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. But yeah, there's a special place in hell for you, Rory Gilchrist. And that poor girl. Well, those poor girls, all those teen girls that he fucking abducted and kidnapped. And then it sucks for the teen girls as well, because it's yeah, they're survivors, but literally everybody around them is annihilated, and they have to watch that as well. So yeah, Rory Gilchrist, there's a special place in hell for you. Okay, this isn't an unsub, but this is a moment. Garcia and Tyler, that little romance subplot that they did the first season, and now it's this whole will they or won't they. Tyler, who is now a part of the team, but he started off as a material witness, and so for Garcia to cross those lines, I was just girl, what do you literally anybody else. But yeah, now he's a part of the team. But yeah, that doesn't erase the fact that Garcia, you're reintegrated into the FBI, because she didn't want to come back, but she did. And so she comes back to the FBI, and then you end up sleeping with a material witness That is insane. I'm sure that's some kind of HR workplace fraternization, whatever the fuck violation. Also, Garcia already got the HR talk when her and Morgan were doing their little thing. But anyways, yeah, I just cannot believe that she did that. That they did that. But I'm gonna put most of the blame on her because, like, girl, you're the one with the job. Like, what are you doing? And so I'm just gonna put officer, like, y'all need to go to jail, but y'all need to go to jail. You know? Because why would you do that? Also, another thing, this isn't gonna be on the tier, but who the fuck is David? His name is Rossi. We have always called him Rossi, or on the off chance, Dave Rossi, or whatever. But since when did everybody start referring to Rossi as David? Like, it will be so many times throughout the series where I'll just be watching it and then they'll be like, oh yeah, David's doing such and such. We know that that's his name. Everybody has always referred to him as Rossi for the last 15 years or so. So I don't know why they're calling him David now. It's not really a complaint either. It's just more so an observation. I wonder if anybody else is just like, why are they calling him David? Okay, the next unsub that we have is Robert Harris. This is when I was happy that we have Criminal Minds Evolution that was on a new network so they could deal with more adult themes, like, because I feel like it's just more suiting for the show. But basically he was, you know, BDSM adjacent. I don't know, like, he was a bull and he had ED, and so that made him feel some type of way. And so he started unaliving people. Specifically, he started unaliving other bulls as well. And then also he would film the videos of him like harming them. And so basically when he would start to harm them, he would do like some type of spinal surgery. He would do some type of spinal surgery to where they were fully awake and conscious of everything that was going on. And he would make them choose between either complete paralysis or death. That is just so evil. That is just so evil. Because he got ED from an accident, I believe. So he was very jaded about that, which was sad. But like, you don't start killing people because your dick doesn't work. Like, that's not how it goes. Yeah, there's a special place in hell for you because, like, first of all, you're killing people, but also it is just so cruel and evil to like be like, oh yeah, choose between either being paralyzed, like your entire body, or you could die. Like, they really took it to another level with these unsubs for Criminal Minds Evolution, because every single episode and like the ways that they were unaliving people, it was just stuff that you would never even think of. Okay, and so the next unsub that we have, it's actually a pair of unsubs. They're called the Bruneau brothers. I hope I'm saying their last name right. But basically they would do home invasions, of course. But they would do it while the homeowners were on vacation. And so when they would invade the homes, it would trigger the alarm systems, and the homeowners, they will be able to see their cameras or whatever. Basically, it would trigger the alarm systems, and then a cop would obviously come thinking like, you know, something's happening. They would end up torturing and unaliving the cops who showed up on the scene for what they thought was like a home invasion or whatever. It was a home invasion, but there was nobody home. I don't know what's worse, like being in the room and witnessing something like that, or having to watch it on camera knowing that it's happening in your house and there's literally nothing you could do. Like, I would just feel so helpless. I'm gonna say for him, you need to repent, because why would you? It's like you're inflicting harm onto other people, like physically, but then also you're inflicting all this psychological trauma onto the homeowners as well. Like, you need to ask for forgiveness, because what is wrong with you? Why would you do that? Okay, and so the next, this isn't really an unsub, but this is a situation that happened with Rebecca, who is Tara's love interest, who I love the sapphic storyline. I love Tara and Rebecca together. They are so cute. I wish that Prentice was a sapphic, but we are going to work on that. Also, I feel like it was like a Gemily moment in there. I'm still a Gemily truther. I don't think that will actually ever happen for real, but I really feel like Prentice was supposed to be a sapphic with someone, not on the team. Like, I don't know who. Anyways, I'm rambling. Rebecca, I kind of started giving her the side eye early on in the first season, when we come to find out that like her first major case that kind of gave her the career that she had was a false conviction. And of course she didn't know that at the time, but when she did find that out, it was almost like they kind of had to force her to feel bad, because she was more concerned about her career and what that could mean for her, opposed to the fact that she put an innocent man behind bars for something that Cyrus had ended up doing. And so just to give context to that, there was an inmate named Silvio Herrera. They had brought him in for questioning, thinking that he might know more information about the Cyrus of it all. Cyrus was Lee Duvall, whatever y'all want to call him, the main unsub, who stays over the course of 3 seasons. It was his uncle who kind of, fucked him up and like kind of made him the way that he is. It was so random. When I first saw Silvio Herrera, I deadass thought it was Pedro Pascal. Oof. They look alike. But anyways, basically Silvio and this other man named Juan, they were both gang members and they were also secretly lovers as well. And in that world that they come from, it's not accepted to be gay or whatever, which is really sad. And so Cyrus, who is Elias's void uncle, he had found out about that and he basically extorted them, and he had forced Silvio to take the fall for Maria Jones, which is a woman who disappeared who Cyrus ended up killing. He forced Silvio to take the fall for that, or he would out Silvio and unalive Juan, which is Silvio's lover. And so that's how he ended up behind bars. But this was also the very first major case that Rebecca was working on, and this is like the case that really defined and launched her career. And so once everybody finally came to the conclusion that this man has been sitting in jail for I don't even know how long, and he didn't even actually do the legit crime that he's been accused of, she was just so concerned about her career and not the fact of like, this man has been in jail for probably close to 2 decades for a good chunk of his life for something that he didn't do, and you are in part responsible for that, but you in the moment are more worried about your career. I did not like that. I started to give her the side eye. Even though she eventually came to her senses, I was just like, girl, no. And so I'll put her in the not you bitch category, because I did not expect for her, even though she's not an unsub or anything, I just did not expect for that whole situation to unfold the way that it did. And so I don't know, I was giving her the side eye a little bit, even though she redeemed herself. In a different life, Silvio Herrera, he still probably would have been a shitty person. Like, I mean, you're in a gang, you know, whatever. But also it's like, you know, he could have just been, you know, a little gang man with his gang man lover or whatever. Like, he didn't kill that girl, you know. And the next unsub that I have is Frank Scelsa. This man, literally as soon as the episode started, I thought I was watching a Saw movie. Like, it was like the girl was crawling around in the vents, and then it was different rooms. It was giving very much Saw trap. Like, I don't even know how the hell he set that shit up. But basically, Frank Scelsa, he had a daughter who unfortunately OD'd from something that happened in college. She took some bad drugs, I guess. So that is kind of what made him snap. And so he decided to start kidnapping and unaliving other college age students who were around her age, who also, you know, partook in the activities that ultimately took her life, and like TAs and things of the sort. And so he ended up getting this one girl, and throughout the whole episode, you know, she's trying to figure out how to get out of there and everything. And then there's this another girl who's been there for I don't even know how long. And then basically once they get to the last room or whatever, he's like, he takes one of the girl who's been there the longest, and is just like, oh, either I can kill her and you can go, or you can trade places with her and she'll be free. And so the girl who was just recently kidnapped, she tries to run, like she goes through the door, but it was a hard one to watch. And it's something about these unsubs that just love doing like the you get to choose your fate type of thing, even though they really don't get a choice, because both options are absolute shit. Like, because he told her that, oh, you could either let her be here and be unalived, or and save yourself, or you can trade places with her. And like, of course she tried to save herself, but that didn't actually go anywhere because it wasn't an actual real option. And so yeah, that sucks. And so yeah, I'm gonna say for Frank Scelsa, like, I really do feel bad for you. Like, it sucks. Nobody should have to lose a child, especially to drugs. That is so sad. However, that is evil to do to another person, as far as choose your own fate, but not really, because you made the choice for them anyways. And still, like, unaliving people who are literally college students and people that work on college campuses who have their whole lives ahead of them. Like, it's just no, Frank, no. So yeah, there's a special place in hell for you, Frank. So yeah, that's where you're going. This is a situation that happened with an unsub, which is Rossi, whenever he decided to go into Voight's house. And then that whole showdown happened, and then that ended up resulting in him being trapped in the shipping container, which was like very traumatic for him, like awful. Like, I felt really bad because, you know, he started hallucinating and talking to Voight, who wasn't really there. Like, it really fucked him up or whatever. But also, why would you go into this man's house? Why would you do that? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Rossi, like, he just got too involved with the case. And like, I understand, like, I mean, this case and this specific unsub, he ties over throughout all 3 of the seasons. But the fact that he just decided to waltz up in there without any real tangible evidence, to where it wasn't even legal, and then you're just gonna walk in there like you are still a 70-year-old man, and that's how he ended up in the shipping container. Like, I was just like, Rossi, No, like get it together. Get it together. And so I'm just gonna say officer, like, because you don't need to go to jail, but you need to go to jail, you know? But also I felt bad for him for being in the I really did feel bad for him for being in the shipping container because I really fucked him up. I feel like it's already a given, like Elias Voigt slash Lee Duvall slash Sicarius slash what other aliases he has. Like the door's gone. Okay, season 1 and 2, Elias. I'm gonna say season 3 Voigt is you need to repent. Because this is still the same person that has caused so much harm. Like this is the person who's basically responsible for all the other people and creating the network and all this other stuff for all these other unsubs. However, he does end up getting into that fight while he's in prison, and then that gives him amnesia, which I was kind of skeptical at first because he can pull off anything, but as the third season goes on, we see that it is legit. And so we see him kind of gain a conscience in a way. And so I do think that that is something, but also you are still the person who did this, even though you just can't remember it. And so I'm going to put him in the you need to repent category. Season 3, Elias Voigt, you need to repent. Like, you're obviously still a shitty person, but you really need to, like, try and be better, because I feel like it's possible for him. It was so many times where I just want to Reed to come back. Like, funny enough, I actually really like this cast together. I was worried how it wasn't going to work with Hotch, Morgan, and Reed missing, but Gemma Lee be holding it down, and Penelope. And I just like this cast has really good chemistry or whatever, so I do enjoy it. But it was just so many points with Elias Voigt. I was like, oh my gosh, please call Reed, please. Because Elias Voigt was just running circles around them for the first 2 seasons, and it literally took him losing his memory for them to catch up to him. So I hated how he did freaking Doug Bailey. Like, oh my gosh, I really enjoyed Doug. I did also enjoy his presence once he did start to like warm up to the team, and then once he actually started to trust Emily and things of the sort. So I just hated seeing him go, especially so quickly, and it was so sudden. That was something I was not expecting. I kind of go into the whole Gold Star shit. Like, whenever they first mentioned Gold Star, I was genuinely like, what the hell? Like, was I not paying attention? Because they said with so much conviction, and we saw that obviously Bailey had a reaction to it, but I was just like, what? And then eventually when we get to season 2, we figure out what Gold Star actually is. But that whole side plot of Gold Star and the 5 people, like, we gonna get into it, but that was insane. Okay, so for the actual Gold Star, like, assailants or whatever, like the vigilantes, I'm gonna put them in the you need to repent category, because they were obviously awful people. They were unsubs, they were killers, but they also had really traumatic childhoods. They only had so much control over who they were, because it kind of was giving, well, it was a cult. They just never stood a chance, and that's really sad. But yeah, if you know, like, Gold Star, they were a part of like the Stewart House, which was like some group home or whatever. And then basically it was like an experiment, because the man who ran it, which is Frank Church, who is going in the unhinged category, like the door's gone, that's where you're going, Frank Church. He kind of orchestrated all of their fucked up childhoods and experiences, like any type of trauma you can imagine, and that is what kind of molded them into being like these vigilantes for the Gold Star group or whatever. And basically he ran like a front. They were this vigilante group, but they fronted as like this military corporation to where they provided security services, something like that. Okay, another moment that really pissed me off was whenever Prentice's neighbor was like into all the conspiracy theories, and that kind of torpedoed into her getting arrested because he was into his conspiracies and shit. I forgot his name. I'll put it up on the screen. He was a victim, but also like you got my bitch Prentice arrested. Prentice is my favorite character for a number of reasons. And like why would you, she was trying to help him. Like, why would you set her up like that? And so I'm just going to say officer, because people who just fall for like conspiracy theories like that, like, they are very dangerous, but also it's just like, you need help. Like, what is, like, why? Like, just go to jail, Like, I just like people like that. Like, they need help, but they also can't be helped at the same time, Okay, the next unsub that we have is Kai Veneer. This is like the moving day murderer. I want to say that was his nickname or whatever. This man would find people who are moving into their homes, and when you're moving in, it's a lot of people in and outside the house. Like, you're trying to get utilities turned on and other things of the sort. So it's a lot of people coming in and out of the house. And so the unsub, he would just pretend to be somebody from the HVAC team, saying like he was going to fix something with the AC, and then he would eventually hide out in their homes until everybody left, and then he would unalive the couple by suffocating them with like the packing saran wrap, like the plastic wrap, whatever that is. It's one thing to walk into somebody's shit and to be like, oh, y'all getting robbed or whatever, like that's still fucked up. But it's another thing to walk into somebody's shit and just act like you're supposed to be there and to like deceive these people. Like they over here thinking that you about to fix the HVAC system and shit. They just got this new house or whatever, and now they can't even freaking enjoy it. And so yeah, there's a special place in hell for you, Kyvan, and you're like, why would you do that? The next unsub is Roger Song. This episode was so sad because towards the end everything kind of fell in place, and it was like, oh wait, basically Roger Song, the unsub, he would capture his victims. They were usually other Asian men that looked like him as well, and he would capture them, and then in his basement he had like this like glass chamber thing, and it would like rain acid or something on them. And so they died really slow, painful deaths. Like that in and of itself is just freaking awful. But the lore behind it was also just so devastating and sad. Basically, Roger Song, he's a husband, so he has a wife, and his wife was pregnant with their first child or whatever. So this is, a new season for them, and they were all excited for the baby. And he's just really controlling over the entire pregnancy and all that. And so come to find out that he is infertile, so he has to get an IVF donor. That is already kind of like a hit to his masculinity and ego, if you will, I guess. So he became very controlling over the entire pregnancy, and he was very hell-bent on having a home birth. And so yeah, they have the home birth, and this is where he starts unaliving people. So it was highly recommended that she not do a home birth due to the risks of her pregnancy, but he insisted on that anyways. And so unfortunately during the home birth, his wife and the baby did not make it. And so that devastation in and of itself, it kind of made him have a break from reality. And so he was literally running around this house taking care of his baby and his wife as if they were alive, but they are just not. They're rotting away. It was crazy. We didn't figure that out until the end of the episode, because as the episode's going on, we're kind of in him with his delusions. And so that's the first part. And then so he starts taking in victims and things because he views the IVF donors, because he's infertile, he views them as rapists instead. In this break from reality, they aren't people who helped him. They are somehow people who raped his wife, even though that's not what happened. They're just donors. And so yeah, he tracks each of the donors down and he kills them, like for avenging his wife or whatever, but that's not reality. And so that entire episode was just so sad towards the end, once we actually figure out like, oh wait, like this is actually what's going on in this dude's head, and this is actually what it is in real life. That episode was rough. I'm gonna say not you, bitch. I'm gonna put him in that category because for the first half of the anyways, I'm gonna say not you, bitch, for the category, because for the first like 2/3 of that episode, we were led to believe that he was unaliving these men simply for the fact that they had seriously violated his wife, who we thought was alive, and we thought that these men who were victims were like, rapists, and these men were just sperm donors. That episode was just such a twist, but also it was so sad as well because he lost his family and his poor wife didn't make it. Like, obviously I knew he was unsub because we was watching him do what he did, but his reasoning and his motivation for it, that really took me by surprise. And so yeah, I'm gonna put Roger's song in the not you bitch category, because not you bitch, I'm over here thinking that you some type of vigilante looking out for your wife, and that's not even what it is. Also, you really need help, because like that's crazy. Like having a break from reality like that's crazy. But also I don't know how I would react in that situation. Like that is just that whole episode was just devastating. Oh. The next unsub that we have is Franklin Fowler. This man would basically find groups of people, more so specifically families, and he would force them to get into the pool of his home. And then as they're in the pool, they're obviously scared because he'll be pointing guns and stuff at them. And then he would close the pool cover on them. I swear this was a movie before. I never watched the actual movie, but I remember like a decade ago seeing like the trailer for like a movie like that where it was like two white girls, they got caught. Or maybe that's like some shit from Final Destination, something like that. It's either a movie centered around that specific scenario or that's a part of a movie. But yeah, that is demonic, because why the fuck would you? Drowning sounds like such a terrible way to go out, and doing it as a family, like, oh my gosh, like, why would he do that? And so yeah, there's a special place in hell for you. Like, they just love seeing these damn people suffer. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, the next one that we have is ₘₒᵦ aka the zookeeper. This dude really pissed me off. Basically, he would abduct sex workers. They're over here thinking that, it's just about to be a regular session or whatever, because it would start as like an actual, just like a meeting between a sex worker and what they were thinking was just a regular customer. And they'll be talking about, like, what are their limits and do you like to get choked and things like that. But then he would abduct them and take them down to his basement and literally keep them in cages like animals. That is why he was called the zookeeper. And I believe he would live stream and everything, and he just broke those women down. He would just open up the cages and like they would just like get him a drink or whatever. Like the girl would like just get him a drink and like a snack or whatever, and then just go back to her cage or whatever. Like that is how psychologically like broken down all these women were by him. And like, you are unhinged. The door is freaking gone. I don't even know how you can continue on with your life after something like that. Like, he didn't fuck them up for their lives, especially that one girl who was just so submissive. Like, that poor girl. This next moment pissed me the fuck off and broke my heart all at the same goddamn time. You probably know what I'm talking about, but if you don't, I am talking about the death of Will LaMontagne. Oh my gosh. I remember seeing like an article about like when it first happened, and I was just like, what? And then when I finally watched it, it was still so unexpected, but also that is just how people go out sometimes, which is sad and scary, but what can you do? Will and JJ gave me hope. Like, oh my gosh, like literally that is like the most consistent relationship that I have seen in my entire life, because like it's literally been going on for like damn near 20 years. And so that was just poor JJ. Like, JJ, that's another thing. JJ is fucked up. Rightfully so, because like, I mean, you just went through this devastating loss or whatever. But I just feel like the team isn't concerned enough. Like, they were concerned at first, but how it's like that thing where it's like, oh yeah, like when somebody in your life dies, like the world moves on. Like, I don't think the world has moved on, especially like the team per se, because they did very much care about Will, and they do obviously care about JJ. But I feel like she's been like exhibiting like some scary signs, and it's like, I feel like they've just been so caught up in the cases and everything, like they're not actually seeing like JJ is fucked up. I don't know if it's foreshadowing or if it's just a stylistic choice, but JJ in her sleeves are making me nervous. They're always extra long and cover her hands, and I just wonder like what's up under them sleeves. And also, I just feel like, you just watch something as traumatic as, spending the last moments with your husband. Like, that's sad in and of itself, and then you just dive back into work. And some people, like, they just need the distraction and everything, but oh my gosh, I wish it would have happened literally any other way. Or maybe I don't, but that whole episode was just so sad. Also, it was crazy as hell when, was it Will's mama, when Will's mama slapped JJ in front of Garcia and Prentice? That was crazy. Yeah, I guess I don't actually really have to rank that, but that broke my freaking heart. Actually, no, I am gonna rank it. You need to go to jail, officer, whoever the fuck wrote. Well, I want to say he left, actually. I want to say he just didn't want to come back to the show or something like that. But whoever killed Will off, whoever's choice it was to kill him off, you are going to jail, officer. I usually don't be getting too caught up by character deaths, but also like, this is Criminal Minds, and like I've been watching it for a majority of my life. So these are people who I've become attached to. Like, I'm not the type of bitch who just like sits in front of the TV and cries like whenever it's a sad scene, but you best believe when that damn funeral scene came on and JJ was giving her little speech, and even just like the moments leading up to that, you could just see how devastated she was with trying to look for like the final gift or whatever. Like, it was sad. Whoever wrote that episode, you did a great job, but also you need to go to jail. Nola lost a real one. But yeah, RIP to William LaMontagne. You were an icon and you were the moment. I like how he always embraced JJ and who she was and how important her job was. And he was given very much not stay at home husband because we know he had a job, but almost stay at home husband because it was obvious like, okay, JJ has like the serious job or whatever. And so yeah, I just love that. Love that for her. I wonder how her character is going to evolve after this, because that has obviously done a number on her, and I guess we're going to see how that continues to play out within the next season whenever that does come out. But JJ has me a little bit worried because she's grieving, rightfully so, but those sleeves, it's giving cry for help. Okay, the next unsub that we have is actually a pair of unsubs. They are Malcolm Ramsey and Brad Falco. One of them was a doctor, the other was an EMT, and so the EMT would just roam the streets. He would basically pick up homeless people and he would like present it as a ruse to where it's like, oh, we're giving out free meals or whatever, but actually he was taking them back to the doctor in like this abandoned warehouse or hospital or whatever. The doctor has a daughter who was seriously injured and she had like burns and bruises all over her body. And so he would take the homeless people that the EMT had just captured. He would basically take their skin and do like skin grafts for his daughter in hopes that the skin grafts would take. But since these are just random people and it's like, we don't know these people, a lot of times the skin grafts wouldn't take. And so that's why the EMT would have to go out and keep on finding more people and more people because he wanted to help his daughter. Why didn't he just take her to the doctor? I'm sure getting a skin graft is up there with like organ transplants because your skin technically is an organ or whatever. So I know it's not like, skin grafts laying around or whatever, but sometimes you just got to go on the list and wait your turn. No, that doesn't feel right. But yeah, like taking homeless people off the street and then taking their skin isn't the way to go either, because I want to say like basically her entire body was burnt, and so he would take like a good chunk of their skin, and when things like that happen, you don't survive, and so that's how they were dying. And yeah, it was really sad. I'm gonna say officer, like, yeah, you need to go to jail. I don't think it's like really any hope for them because the other guy was in it. The EMT dude, he was just in it for the money, and he was running like an organ transplant black market ring, whatever the fuck. So he was, whenever the doctor was done with the skin or whatever, he would make money for them the rest of the organ. So he wasn't any good either. Leon, please let me work. Okay, the next unsub that we have is Ronald Graber, aka the Brutal Man. This is the guy with that crazy, oh my gosh, I forgot. It starts with the Y. Whatever, it's like some Japanese mask or whatever, the white mask. And he was a family annihilator as well. Basically, you know how like the bumper stickers that they would put, not a bumper sticker, like the stickers that families would put in like the car window where it's like the stick figures or whatever. He would basically track down families by that, and he would steal the sticker, and that was like his signature or whatever. So yeah, and then he also had like this obsession and fixation with Elias Voigt. There's a special place in hell for the Brutal Man. Like, it was an abundance of family annihilators with Criminal Minds Evolutions. Like, I don't know what the hell it was, but yes. Okay, but the next unsub that we have is Kyle Mackey, aka The Undertaker. Basically, he would abduct and bury alive his victims, but also while he was burying them alive, they were conscious, and he would be live streaming it. It was literally like, like that scene from Kill Bill where like they try and bury her alive, and then it was literally like that, but if she was being live streamed on top of that. And so that is just awful. And I remember it was like somebody's daughter, I want to say. Like, it was like a young girl. Like, why the fuck would you do that to a child? I'm going to actually put him in The Door Is Gone, because why? Doing that period is just so awful, and that is just terrifying. But why did he do that to a child? They just love a live stream with Criminal Minds Evolution. Like, it's because it's like the Killer Network or whatever. Like, if you watch it, then you know why. Okay, so the next unsub that we have is Robert Kinney. The door's gone for him as well. Before you even get into it, like, this man is unhinged, because basically he framed a federal agent, which was Evan Del Rey. I want to say that's his name. The guy who was Tara's ex from law school or whatever. He tried to frame him for attempting to murder Tara. And he tried to make it seem like it was like some romantic, like he was this scorned ex-lover or whatever. And for a minute, I believed it. I was like, oh my gosh, like, dang, like, you just coming up in here, like, trying to take a bitch out? Like, damn, like, the Sapphics can't have anything. But come to find out, it wasn't actually him. it was the Robert Kinney dude who framed a federal agent for trying to unalive another federal agent. And basically he had ended up like getting into his home like through a ruse. Like I want to say it was like he checked the gas line or something crazy like that, and while he was in there he was able to take Evan's DNA, and then so he planted it on like this masks and stuff. Rebecca, Tara, and Evan were walking out to the parking garage, and then that is where they ran into somebody who shot them. This man Robert Kinney had staged all of that, and he had ended up framing ₦ because he was a previous client to ₦. And so it was just a hot ass mess. And also Tara literally almost died, and I just want the Sapphics to have one relationship on TV that just lasts and is mostly trauma free. So I'm happy that she pulled through, the strong Black woman. And also I'm happy that she got to like the bottom of her like commitment issues. That was an interesting episode. And so the final unsub that I want to rank is the Disciple. This is kind of like the unsub that was kind of like this presence over the third season or whatever. But we ended up finding out that the Disciple is a girl named Tessa Merrick, and she has her own load of trauma as well. Basically, she was abducted and forced to kind of be a slave in a way to Cyrus. That is Elias's uncle, but he went by Lee Duvall. So that is Lee Duvall's uncle. And so this is after Lee Duvall leaves and becomes Elias Voight. He leaves his uncle, and his uncle kind of needs another second hand. She ends up just running away from her home because she has her own trauma going on there as well. And she ran away and ran into Cyrus, and she kind of just went from one personal hell to another. And then so as the series goes on, we see that Elias Voight comes back, and that is when he kills Cyrus, his uncle, because Cyrus really fucked him up as a kid. And so she sees all of this happen, and she's free. And so she kind of makes herself out to be like a mini Elias Voight. Like she is training all these people and has her own network. And, she is kind of like on this vigilante thing as well, because basically everybody that she's ever known has taken like serious advantage of her. So she becomes like this assassin, if you will. And she's the Disciple, who we come to find out. And so, yeah, like as soon as she's free from a lifetime of trauma, she starts unaliving people. And I am going to put her, I'm going to say there's no, I don't want to say it's a special place in hell. I mean, it is. I'm going to say you need to repent, actually, because I felt she just has such a fucking shitty origin story. And again, like, I don't want to say she never stood a chance, because you don't have to become a killer. Like, we've all been through some shit. You don't start killing people because of that. But also, I can't imagine literally escaping from one situation and then running into another situation like that. I can only imagine how angry and how vengeful that could make a person. And so I understand her train of thought. However, she still is not a good person. Like, you kind of killed a lot of people, and that's not how you deal with your trauma. And so, yeah, that's all I have. It's only 3 seasons of Criminal Minds Evolutions, and it's the one thing that sucks, but whatever, you just kind of have to take with it, is that since it's on streaming now, instead of it being like 22 or so episodes per season, it's only 10 episodes per season. So I'm only going off of the 30 episodes that we have so far. But good news is that it was redeemed for a 4th season, which I am excited for. I'm excited to see where the 4th season goes now, since Lee/Elias Voight is now like kind of an afterthought. Like, he obviously has wreaked a lot of havoc, but he's going to jail now to serve his time, and he has developed a conscience. So hopefully that's over, or you can never fully trust Elias Voight. I'm excited to see how the next season pans out, just with everything going on with JJ, and also Ross, kind of tackling his grief and his trauma as well. Hopefully he can help JJ with that. I want Prentice to get a lover, so I want Prentice to be sapphic, but the writers were not, no, they wouldn't be that nice. But I want Prentice to find somebody, like, everybody else is booed up and shit. Also, I fucking forgot. You remember? Okay, I feel like they was dropping a whole bunch of Gemini nuggets, even though they would never actually do Gemini. Because, like, okay, it was the first thing, like, I have you, or I need you, whatever the fuck JJ said whenever they were high as fuck. So it was that, and I was just like, okay, bitch, like, but also, we stick together, like, you my bitch, whatever. Yeah, so I love that. But then it was like, whenever Emily had told JJ that her ex-boyfriend wanted a threesome with JJ, and I was just like, okay, okay, girl, like, I'm keeping my eye on both of them, even though I don't think the writers would never They would never make me that happy. I want Tyler and Garcia to just be normal. I want Adam and Garcia to try again, or to just try and actually get along and not do like the whole I hate you thing. It was nice to see Reed come back for Will's funeral. It sucked for the circumstances. I was happy to see him. Tara and Rebecca are so cute. Oh yeah, and like they're engaged now, so that'll be interesting seeing that next season how that pans out with them being like a serious couple. Also, I wonder if we're going to see more of Dr. Ochoa. But yeah, that is my final tier ranking for the few unsubs that we have. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much if you stayed until the end. Be sure to check out my clothing brand, Main Character The Label. Also be sure to check out my makeup brand, Box Office Beauty. And also be sure to check out the blog in our community, planetsyd.net. I've been updating it and I'm going to continue updating it every day until the end of the year. So yeah, just go stop by there, see my thoughts, whatever. But yeah, I hope you guys feel safe and seen wherever you are, and I hope you guys are finding joy and fulfillment on your journey of self-expression. Until next time.